What's up, Comics Verse? I'm Connor, and I'm here with the inimitable J.G. Jones, a legend. He's worked on Marvel Boy, 52, Wanted. He's done 17 covers for Why the Last Man. He is a legend, plain and simple. And we're so happy to be here with you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
I mean, you've done some amazing, beautiful artwork, which we have here. And I noticed that you had an MFA, so you've studied art very extensively. And I was wondering, what got you into the comics industry?
Well, I think like a lot of kids, I started out drawing comics, and reading comics and doing my own illustrations for Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And when I went to college, I kind of got off on the fine arts track and forgot about comics. When I was doing my MFA, I had that teaching assistantship, and my students were bringing in graphic novels. And so I sort of rediscovered comics that way. Dark Knight, Watchmen. I was like, wow, comics weren't like this when I was a kid. This stuff is amazing. And a friend of mine at the newspaper who's also interested in comics, we wrote a little story together. I drew the first 5 pages and walked over to the big show in New York. He said, my friend was much more into comics than I was at the time. He said, show this guy. I said, okay, I don't know this guy. The gentleman flipped through my portfolio and said, can you start Monday? And it was Jim Shooter. So,
your work there's such a fundamental understanding of anatomy and facial structure and just understanding the human form. What inspires you? What artists from the past and the present have inspired you?
As far as my influences, illustrators, James Bama, the Doc Savage stuff from the 60s, and Frank Frazetta and all those guys, and Richard Corbin and all the heavy metal artists and the Warren artists from the 70s, Mike Plug, Gil Kane, all the Spider-Man artists from the 70s was the stuff I was looking at growing up. So I think I kind of just mashed it all into whatever this sauce that I came out with. Yeah.
Well, it's an award-winning sauce, twice Eisner nominated. And I was actually going to ask, because you've been nominated for interior work and covers. And I was wondering, in general, when you're, for artists watching, when you're working on an interior versus a cover, how does that process differ, if it does at all?
I actually like going back and forth between just doing covers and doing interiors because it really exercises different muscles. On a cover, you're just trying to do a single image that's going to grab the eye and maybe sometimes even tell a little hint of the story. And then when you're doing interiors, it's really about the script and storytelling and figuring out the best way to do the story.
And speaking of storytelling, you've obviously done amazing work as an artist, but you're writing as well. And you mentioned earlier that you've been writing for a long time. How does that process differ imaginatively? Are there some things that you have to draw, or some things that you have to write, or vice versa?
It's kind of funny because when you're an artist, there's always a bit of a struggle with the script. It's like, oh, this stuff looks really cool, but this writer is like, does he hate me? Making me draw this. But then when you're a writer, I feel like I want to punish the artist. And that's right, you're going to do it this way. You're going to do it my way. If I'm working on a particular character on the page, I almost inhabit their body language and stuff. I find myself doing whatever gesture I'm painting because it's channeling through my head and out my hand in a weird kind of creepy way.
Well, is there anything that we should be on the lookout for coming up that you're working on, either writing or kind of illustrative work?
I'm finishing up the last issue of Strange Fruit, and that's going to be collected in a hardcover and a trade paperback soon. And I'm tossing coins, seeing which project that I'm writing is going to be next up for me. So,
well, thank you so much for talking to us. And this has been comicsverse.com. If you like this video, subscribe. Also check out our website, and I'm sure we'll be reviewing all of your work soon. Thank you again so much.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.